Night Film is a fantasy drama starring Kevin Costner. Someone Beyond the Grave likes baseball a fair bit. Field of Dreams is coming up after the news now.
Child stabbings. A mother arrested after her children were attacked inside their home is held under the Mental Health Act. Tonight, her 6-month-old baby is still critically ill in hospital. Her 2 other young children died from their wounds in what appears to be a terrible domestic incident. Also on the programme, the desperation of a bereaved husband whose dying wife was refused cancer treatment on the NHS.
Quite angry, really, at first. But then, I would have sold the house if it cost a fortune to keep her alive.
LA's burning. Film sets go up in flames in a huge fire at Hollywood's Universal Studios. Good evening. A mother arrested after 2 children were stabbed to death at a house in South London has been detained under the Mental Health Act. 35-year-old Navaraja Navanethan, who's been in hospital since the attack on Friday, will now be transferred to a secure mental health unit. A 6-month-old girl, also found with stab wounds, is critical but stable in hospital. Earlier today, their father, who was also arrested, was freed without charge. Tim Hewitt reports.
Police forensic teams are still working their way through the house where these awful events unfolded. The mother of the 2 children stabbed to death here, Sasikala Navanethan, has now been detained under the Mental Health Act and transferred to a secure unit. Her husband, Navaraja, has been released without charge. This is the couple's 3rd child, a 6-month-old baby girl. She was also injured and is in a critical but stable condition. The Navanethans, thought to be from Sri Lanka, ran a convenience store in South London, eventually moving from the flat upstairs to a house nearby. It was at that house, 111 Park Lane, where their 5-year-old son and 4-year-old daughter lost their lives on Friday night. They were reportedly found in their bedrooms, suffering from stab wounds, and died within minutes of being rushed to an ambulance. Their mother is believed to have called the police. Now there are flowers and messages of condolence outside the house, left by friends and neighbours simply unable to understand what happened here. Tim Hewitt, ITV News.
A grandmother dying of cancer was denied NHS care because she'd paid privately for drugs not available through the health service. A ban on combining private and NHS treatment meant 64-year-old Linda O'Boyle was no longer entitled to free medical care. She died in March. Today, her husband told ITV News he's going to the High Court to reverse the policy. Gillian Kelly went to speak to him.
By the end of her life, Linda O'Boyle was denied free treatment on the NHS for her bowel cancer. The same is happening to other people nationwide, because Linda chose to pay privately for a pioneering cancer drug called cetuximab, not available on the NHS. But her husband Brian was appalled to discover that going private meant Linda lost the right to all other free care.
Quite angry, really, at first. But then, I would have sold the house if it cost a fortune to keep her alive.
In front of me here I have some of the bills for Linda's treatment. In the end it cost £11,000 for just 8 weeks of private care, but Brian and Linda firmly believe that it extended Linda's life by at least 3 months. The O'Boyles were happy with Linda's care at Southend Hospital. In a statement, the hospital said patients are told they can have NHS treatment or private, but not both.
The nurses were fabulous, the doctors were fabulous. I've got no complaints whatsoever about that end of it.
So your anger, of course, isn't based towards them at all.
Not at all.
Who is it? What is it about the situation you find so appalling?
Well, I'm sure it's the Minister for Health.
But the government says these co-payments create an unacceptable 2-tier health service.
You could argue that if people are rich enough to pay for it, they should pay for it. But that means that other people who can't pay for it don't get the drug.
So far, the Conservative Party hasn't commented either way. Now, Brian, who worked for the NHS